In this video, you will learn how to book members like musicians, technicians, and crew for your various gigs inside Back on Stage. Now to begin, you'll need to have members and roles set up inside your Back on Stage account. If you already did this during your onboarding, you can go ahead and skip to the portion of this video where we are setting up the actual booking. But in case you missed that, we're going to go over it really quickly now for you. So to begin, you're going to want to have roles set up inside your Back on Stage account first. So come over here to members and then click on roles. Roles are the various instrument names and job titles that people fulfill within your band. For example, if you have a 6-piece band and you have drums, bass, guitar, keyboard, a horn player, and a vocalist, those would all be various roles that you set up. And you want to name them as per the instrument or the job title that is actually fulfilled. Now, once you've got all of your roles added, now we can add members. Simply come up to the top here and click on Add Member. That is going to open our Invite New Member form. Simply enter a first and last name and email address, and then you're going to assign those people to the roles that you've just created in the previous step. Once all of your musicians and roles are added in here, you can come over to the members portion again, click on Active Members, and you'll be able to see a list of all the members in your company as well as all of the roles assigned to them. This is critical as all this information is needed in the system for us to be able to book people. So with all of that done, we can now create a booking. Come over to your booking section on the left sidebar and click on Add New. That will open up our Create Booking form. Simply enter the beginnings of the event details here to move on to the next step. All right, now that our event is created, scroll down to the Schedule and Services section. This part is very important. If you forget anything I'm about to tell you, you can always click on the Help icon right here. This will open up a small description of what's going on in this section so you can get a better idea in case you forget anything. The essentials here are that the services here are very important. When you configure a service inside Back on Stage, by doing this, you come down here and you scroll down to your services section here and you click on Add New Service. When you're setting up a new service, we're telling the system everything that we need to put on our client invoice, as well as possibly the contract. And then down here, we're telling the system whether or not we're going to need to hire any of our members to fulfill any roles within this service. For example, like in my earlier example of a 6-piece band, if this service was going to be a 6-piece band like this, then I might need to hire 6 musicians and possibly a sound technician for this service as well. So the first thing I want to do is toggle this on so that the system is aware I'm going to be hiring roles for this service. And then I'm going to add in all of the various roles that I need to book here. To add a role, I simply click Add Role, and I can select all my roles here. For my 6-piece band, I'm going to choose bass, drums, guitar, keyboard, sound technician, tenor sax, and a vocalist. And I will add all of those roles to my service. Once all of those roles are added in, now the service will be aware of which roles we need to fulfill whenever we add this to an event. You can go in here and put in the dollar rate amounts that you would typically pay for these roles on a gig-by-gig basis as well. Bear in mind that you can still change these on a gig-by-gig basis, so it's not super important that you get anything or everything super right here, as it's still easily changed later. But I'll go ahead and fill in a typical rate that I use so that we can move forward. And there it is. So once I'm done with this service, all I have to do is hit Create Service. And now you can see my 6-piece band has been added to my schedule. By default, our schedule will include a load-in, sound check, door opening time, and an end time for the event. If you do not need any of these specific schedule items, you can always delete them using the trash can over there. Bear in mind, you can always hide items as well if there are things you need to remember, like having specific services on here that maybe you don't need the musicians to see for whatever reason. You can always hide those as well. Within the drop-down toggle over here, you can also open up to specify end times for specific services. For example, my 6-piece band performance time might begin at 8 p.m. and might end at 11 p.m. So I might put a start and end time there. But the curfew for the actual event isn't until 12 a.m. So I can put an actual end time there should I desire it. I can also go ahead and put in my load-in time of 2 p.m., my sound check time of 3 p.m., and let everybody know that the doors are planning to open at 5 p.m. for this event. All right, so I'm happy with the schedule. I could continue adding more information down here if I wanted to, but for now, I am just going to leave all of that blank, and I'm going to come down here and hit save and close. And now that we have all of the basic information in the booking creator here, I can come on to my next step of booking the roles now, actually booking the roles. So I'm going to go ahead and find my 6-piece band here and hit the edit button to launch the book roles page. Now there's a ton of great stuff on this page to make your life easier as a booker or band leader. So let's take a look at a bit of what's going on here. First of all, what I see is all of the roles that I previously built out: bass, drums, guitar, keyboard, and so on. And it's telling me that Autobook is ready. Let's take a look at what that means. I'm going to expand all of these roles to take a closer look. So within each role, we'll see that we have 3 different offer methods that we can choose from: Autobook, Manual Book, or Shotgun. If you forget anything I'm about to say, you can always click on the tooltip icon there to get a brief description of each of these methods. But essentially what's happening with the Autobook method is that the system is going to go through my entire call list, and it's going to send a gig offer out to the first call position first, and we're going to wait for them to respond to that offer. If they decline it, it moves on to the next person, and so on. If we don't hear back from them in time, it will also move on. So essentially, you can set it and forget it, come back a day later, and your roles will probably be booked for you. This system is going to book one of these members for each of the roles you have set up on your call list. So you can also configure the gig offer frequency settings down here. So if you click on edit reminder settings, you can choose how frequently you want to send out these offers. For example, if your musicians are really forgetful, you may want to send them more frequently. If your guys are not so forgetful, maybe you can space them out a little more, maybe send them only every 24 hours or something. And have them expire after 1 week instead of just 48 hours. But typically the numbers we see are that people want those offers sent out anywhere from 6 to 12 hours apart and expiring between 48 and 72 hours. That's 2 to 3 days from the initial send date. So that is how you would edit your offer settings there. You can also come in and adjust rate amounts. So what I'm looking at right here is my call list of all of the bass players available inside my company. And I can see that I have 6 different options here. I can reorder them if I want to. If I wanted to call Jake first, I could put him up at the top of the list. It would be as simple as that. I can also come over here and adjust the rate amounts. If I know that I want to pay my top call guy a little more than everybody else, it's easy to do that. If I wanted to bulk edit the rates for the entire page, if you remember earlier when we set up the $400 amount when we were building out this service, and I said, don't worry, you can always change that later. It's really easy to do that here. If this was a higher paid gig and we wanted to pay everybody a little more, it's as easy as that, and all the rates on the page will change for us, and that has affected all of the roles down here as well. Nice and convenient. So if there's anybody I've spoken to I know can't make the gig, I can always delete them from the call list as well. And just like that, they'll be gone. So that is the Autobook system. Now, if you're a smaller outfit, or your guys are always full-time members, or maybe it's you that's booking yourself for an event and you don't need to send yourself gig offers and come in here and take any action, which is, by the way, what people have to do with Autobook. The musicians will receive a gig offer, which they have to respond to. They click a link, they come into back on stage, and they either accept or decline that gig. With the manual book, they do not need to do that. This is a set deal. So as soon as you click on that, whoever you select from your drop-down list of options here will be booked at whatever rate amount. They will still receive an email notice, just notifying them of the event, but they do not need to take any action. Lastly, our shotgun offer over here. What that will do, you'll notice all the call numbers from over here first call, second call, third call are gone. That is because the way this offer works is everybody on your call list is going to get that email at the exact same time, and it's a first come, first serve situation. So the first person to respond to this gig will be the one who gets it. This can be a lifesaver in times when, for example, maybe somebody gets sick the day before a gig, or your drummer sprains his ankle and they just can't perform the next day. You're in a time crunch and you need to fill that role quickly. Shotgun can be a real lifesaver in those instances. We also have some features up here, some handy buttons up here for resetting the role, duplicating it, or deleting it. So if I decided, for example, I did not need to book my bass player just yet, maybe this gig's a year away, and I really just want to book my vocalist, for example, I can just hit the delete button, and like that, he's gone. Also, similarly, resetting the role is easy. This is super helpful when you have booked somebody for an event, and then they call and they say, oh, actually, I accepted that gig, but I can't do it anymore. Something else has come up, and I need to bail. You can come in here and easily reset that role and then start that process again to the rest of your roster. So that is how to manually book, shotgun book, or auto book the roles within Back on Stage here. So once you've configured your whole list of roles and members and you're happy with all of the rate amounts, all you have to do is come down to the bottom here and hit the Book Roles button. When you click on Book Roles, this Confirm New Gig Offers modal will pop up, letting you know everybody that you've just set on this list. You'll see all the people's names along with all of the methods that you chose and the rate amounts for you to confirm. And it's as simple as hitting Book Roles and clicking OK. This then sets the system into motion. Now all you have to do is wait. If you've initiated Autobook offers, those are going to kick into gear for you, and you will be notified as soon as your musicians accept or decline those offers. So now we're back here inside of our booking creator, and I can see that the 6-piece band has been launched. We've got 0 of 6 people booked so far because those were all Autobook offers that I've sent out. So if I open up that page again, I'll be able to monitor those offers and see what's happening. All right, so here we are. I can open up one of these roles. Right away on each of these roles, I see that Autobook is pending. It's telling me no one has accepted this offer yet, but we'll continue sending out those offers until somebody does. So right here, I can see it's on the first person and it's working its way down the list. Right here at the bottom, I can see that one of these roles has failed already. And that is because one of our people on this list is already on one of these other lists. So Autobook automatically assumes that every one person can only do one job. So if you have people that do guitar and vocals, for example, what you would probably want to do is set up a role called guitar and vocal. That way, you can book somebody for that one role and have them understand that they actually need to do 2 things. Rather than putting them as 2 separate roles on the list. Because if you want to use our Autobook feature, once again, Autobook assumes that one person can only do one thing. So it's going to skip people once it realizes it's already sent them an offer for another thing. And in this case, we can see Bernard Purdy has already been offered our drums role, which is why he was auto-declined when it got down to the vocal position and thought about sending him that offer. You can always manually book people for other additional roles. So if you have people fulfill multiple duties in the band, but if you have them fulfill multiple roles in the band, you would have to use the manual book system to do that. So maybe you could send an auto book offer initially, and then once that's accepted, maybe that person just understands that, okay, if I'm doing a gig and I also provide the sound, for example, then you can come and manually book them for the sound role after they've already accepted the previous one. All right, so that is how to book roles for the event. Now, once everybody is booked on this page, you will be able to see them on your gig sheet as well. So I'm going to close and view the booking here and open up our gig sheet. Perfect. So here's the gig sheet. I'm going to scroll down to the band tab here and click on roles. Within here, I can see all of the people I've booked for this event. I can see everybody's status is currently pending as they were previously. So at this point, everybody's as good as booked. I can sit back and wait for this to complete the process, or I can go manually book people if I want to. And that is how you book musicians and technicians and crew members for your gigs inside Back on Stage.